Good morning, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Happy Wednesday. It is me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman. And we are here with a brand new episode of the Wrestling Inc. Daily. And I am joined here, of course, as I am every Wednesday, to have a happy little hump day. It's our good friend, Brian Wohl. Brian, welcome to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Morning, Nick. Oh, man. What a week for wrestling.
No kidding, man. Look at all the sound effects I felt necessary to make because of the week that we're having in wrestling. Oh, my God. I'm off the chain here today. I'm like Curtis Axel in the house here for the Wrestling Inc. Daily today, Brian.
Oh, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's big energy, big week. How about, NXT last night? I have to say, this has been burned in my brain since I heard it. If you want a friend, get a dog.
Are you feeling like NXT is no longer your friend, Brian? Is that what you're trying to say here?
I'm just saying Braun Breaker yelling out, if you want a friend, get a dog last night was one of my favorite lines from a promo in a long time. I thought that was just so fun.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I blanked. Yes. Braun Breaker. Well, Braun Breaker's, amazing, right? Everything he says, the style, the promo, it's all there. No doubt about it. For me, the thing with NXT was like the return of Joe Gacy last night. And, talk about the other end of the spectrum there, promo-wise. I just don't know that they get it, Brian. Like, I kind of had NXT on in the background here this morning. And, booking for that, Greg Gutfeld, 55 and older crowd that hates the youth just doesn't seem like the route to go for me in NXT 2.0. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know who that character's for and how many of them are watching wrestling. I don't know. It doesn't connect with me. It doesn't really give me heat either. I don't know. I can tell though, watching, I can tell Joe Gacy's great.
Joe Gacy,
I can tell that he's fine beneath all of that, whatever.
Joe Gacy,
he's fine.
Joe Gacy is great. And I had tweeted out my dislike for what Joe Gacy did last night again on social media this morning. And I had a fan write back, I think some kind of radio station that was like, old school booking of a modern personality, but we understand why it doesn't work. And, they said something like this works on the independents. And look, there was the progressive liberal character that caught all this wind 2-3 years ago in the throes of Trumpism down in, I think it was Kentucky or Tennessee, was on Vice, was on all of these news outlets. And the reason the progressive liberal worked as a heel is because he was in the deep South. He was walking around Trump country preaching the gospel of Bernie Sanders and thus was hated. NXT, I don't believe, is the deep South, nor does it present itself to be that kind of ultra conservative environment. So I don't understand. I don't understand the gimmick, Brian. It's not that I'm offended by it. I'm just baffled how you could feel that this is what you do right now to bring people into your young, cool, hip product. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Especially because WWE has the most diverse roster in wrestling. WWE has, so many interesting superstars from so many different backgrounds where, I don't know, it just doesn't add up. So that's why I said, who's this character for? What's this for? It doesn't make any sense.
So
while Braun Breaker makes sense to me. That dude seems like he's living and breathing it, and he's walking in reality.
Braun Breaker makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of things that I do like in NXT at the moment, right? I thought the whole ladies' night concept last night with the, kind of 3 beats of the women really being showcased. They're putting up, they're doing a great job right now of showcasing the new talent blended what's left of the old talent, right? But I thought the women really showed up and showed out last night in every single match. The index stuff with Gargano, I'm a little over, honestly. Like, just doesn't do it for me anymore. It just seems really hokey. I don't know about you. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, this is another thing where it's like, who is this for? The humor is very sophomoric, but like juvenile, but not something that would connect with any actual young person right now. So I'm not sure. It's like, who is this for? Who are we booking this for? We have Johnny Gargano wearing a shark fin on his head going in the ocean, but then you pull out like 20 condoms and you have, I don't know. It just doesn't add up. I don't know who it's for.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's NXT's 2.0 right now is, they have the 2 and the O, but they don't know the point, right?
Home run right there, buddy. Wow.
I might put that on a shirt, but that's the truth of it, right? I mean, they've got all 20 new wrestlers, but there's no point and there's no direction here. They're just kind of throwing a lot of stuff out there, and it feels very all over the place to me. Some of it I really like. Braun Breaker, I really like. I even kind of weirdly like Von Wagner. It's just this pure babyface white meat, the rescue, shiny knight kind of deal. I don't know.
I dig Von Wagner too, man. I like Von Wagner.
Von Wagner
feels real.
He does. He's like the Sasquatch that prowls the woods and comes down occasionally to beat people up in NXT, right?
I have to tell you, the Dean Douglas 2.0 character, though, Andre, with the sweater and all that stuff, that one's not working for me.
Yeah, no, and he didn't win, right? He got the smoke in the face and he bit the dust, which is fascinating to me that even some of the new characters are coming out and not immediately picking up wins.
Yeah.
It was just another kind of show where I feel like they're trying to throw out as many tent poles as they can, but the tent is not quite built yet. Maybe we'll see how the chips lie here in about 3-4 months after all of that. Tony D'Angelo is finally going to debut. I will say that after watching, so there's reports, that we talked about earlier this week, and we haven't even got to our run sheet yet or previewed the show, but that's fine. Whatever. NXT riff session here to start. There's these reports that NXT is going to be involved in the draft, and it would seem that way even more so after last night, where it was kind of hinted to in the lashing out segment or whatever. But then I'm watching this, and I've heard, I think it was John Alba, Andrew Zarian on Twitter talking about how Hit Row may be brought to Monday Night Raw. We do have a lot of new people coming in, working with some of the vets there. I wonder if it's going to be even more so thinned out veteran-wise. It's going to be even more new people here after the draft. Is what has been even remotely over in the past 6 months, is that going to leave? Is Pete Dunne leaving? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You see Frankie Monet losing last night. She seems like a natural pick to go to Raw.
Yeah, or SmackDown. She'd be great on SmackDown. Yeah,
or SmackDown. Yeah, wherever Johnny Nitro goes, I feel like she's got to go that way. And then I also wonder, last night we heard the debut of the S word, and I wonder maybe Raw will draft the S word, and it will help Raw. I feel like go top 5 pick right there.
Sure. Oh, just because they start saying shit, you think it'll move the needle?
It's got to.
Hey, you know what? On that note, I just said shit. Somebody gave this stream a like or a heart. Somebody loved it. So that's a great chance for me to remind you all, this is an interactive show. Brian and I have been riffing here on NXT, but you all are welcome into the conversation as well. Give us your hearts, give us your faces, your emojis, or whatever you may do to support the show. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't care. If you want to jump into the chats wherever you're at, Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, you can enjoy the conversation. We had Brian Bills 1417 here commenting on the Johnny Gargano humor, saying American Pie humor worked for me in my teenage years. Are we just too old? B-Wo?
I mean, American Pie was 22 years ago. I feel like American Pie is too old.
And I don't know that American Pie stuff shocks the Gen Zers like it shocked our generation, right, at the time. I don't think that stuff kind of lands and hits the same way.
No, it was 20 years ago.
Dude, I watch FX now, like American Horror. They'll just straight drop F-bombs and stuff. It's a different world we're living in. That I can't even fathom any show dropping an F-bomb, cable or network television in my youth.
I feel like the F word would definitely be like top 2 pick in the draft. It'd be like F word goes to Fox, Roman goes to USA.
See, I feel like the word shit will be drafted to SmackDown because Fox is way more down to play around in those waters. I mean, they're gonna be like, you could say shit, maybe you can. We might even let you say fuck. I don't know. We're Fox, okay? But like USA, like WWE Raw is so much the kids show for me. Like it's like Raw is the kids show. SmackDown is like the older brother show. NXT is like smart older brother show, and then AEW is for adults, right? I really feel like Raw is of their programming directed at children the most.
Yeah, I mean, look, once New Day starts swearing, it will change the entire act. I feel like that's changed the whole game.
So we have here whatever we see. Oh, Rob Humphrey here jumped in. He said if anyone's going to save NXT 2.0, it's going to be Tony D'Angelo. Hey, my family make you sleep with the fishes. Hey, Tony D'Angelo. All right. So Dean Bragg here, by the way, just saying I love you guys. Thank you, Dean. I appreciate that. So and talking about the draft here, Christopher Strikeleather. There's also female talent like Dakota Kai, Aaliyah, Xia Li. They could all be drafted. Yeah, I think NXT is going to get gutted starting on Friday. I think anything that has been over or remotely over the past 6 months and is not brand new off the shelf is going to be cleared out and then moved over to Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, I wonder. And it makes me think of like, where does a Kyle O'Reilly fit on Raw or SmackDown? What kind of incarnation of Kyle O'Reilly? Does he stay a babyface? Because like for me, I feel like he's got to go heel when he goes to one or the other, something like that. What kind of Pete Dunne are we gonna see?
Yeah, I really like him and Rich Holland together, and I mean,
yeah.
I know there's a lot that Pete can still do in NXT or with NXT UK, which has really kind of fallen off here in recent months, just buzz wise. I mean, Pete's so good. Him and Ridge are so good together. I think that they could weather the storm on Raw or SmackDown. I think those guys could maybe make it work. SmackDown for sure. Of course, with Raw, we'll never see. Nicholas, my plant friend here, saying Kyle O'Reilly to SmackDown to feud with Ricochet. Is it Ricochet on Raw?
He is on Raw. He finally came back, and it looks like he's in something with Reggie right now, where it's who can do the better flips. Which I got to tell you, I don't know, it was pretty entertaining, but I feel like there's so many more things you could do with Ricochet. He's like a generational talent, and he's only doing flips with Reggie. Come on, please.
I kind of love the idea of the 24/7 championship becoming something akin to like the cruiserweight division on crack, right? Where it's just like, we don't do just a cruiserweight style. We throw in some parkour. We throw in like a bunch of other stuff. It's like this new style, the 24/7 style, whatever it may be. But, Billings here 23 saying Kyle O'Reilly, that's where he's going to wind up, that 24/7 run. Being chased by Reggie, says Antonio Garcia. Hey, let's get to the actual show here today. What a great opening salvo this was about NXT. We still have our news block to get to. If you're listening to us in audio form, after the news, you're going to hear Brian's WWE SummerSlam weekend conversation with Nikki Ash. You want to tee this one up? What are people going to hear you and Nikki talk about?
I was excited to ask Nikki about working with Molly Holly. Now that Molly Holly is a producer backstage, we have a female producer, and what's that like? Usually I think it's TJ Wilson laying out most of the women's matches, and before that it was Fit Finlay. So having a Hall of Famer female wrestler laying out matches with the ladies, I think was really cool. And then also Nikki just kind of offered up because my wife was behind the camera and she was wearing a Cactus Jack t-shirt. Nikki lit up and talked about how she was just reading Mick Foley's book on the flight on the way to SummerSlam. And so we got to talk about a mutual love of Mick Foley and just this new character for her and how personal it is.
Fair enough. Wow. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. What a great person too. I got to tell you, she really left an impression on me.
She's reading "Have a Nice Day," the
yes.
first Foley book. Okay, because he's had I think 3 or 4 bestsellers now. I'm not really sure. A lot of books
and a children's book
that
was illustrated by Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, well, Mick's very talented man, smart guy. All those chair shots did not scramble his brains completely. So we'll hear Nikki here later. If you want to watch it, that video is already up on our YouTube channel, Wrestling Inc. At the end of the show, we'll dive in the mailbag. Fun little discussion about a potential new venue for AEW Dynamite I thought that we could all talk about. But without further ado, let's get to it. News you can use. News that'll leave a bruise. A bit of bruising news, I thought. Mondays have become very competitive here. Monday Night Football's back in the mix. 12 million plus people. I know we're watching football on Monday night. But this was the post-Extreme Rules edition of Raw. It averaged 1.709 million viewers, according to Showbuzz Daily. That's down almost 5% from last week's 1.793 million. The first hour did 1.818. The second hour, 1.714 million. And then the last hour, featuring the steel cage match between Big E and Lashley, did 1.596 million viewers. So they dropped about 250,000 viewers over the 3 hours. So it did a 0.48 rating in the key 18 to 49 demo, down 2% from the week before. It was 15 for the night, and overall viewership, number 7 in the cable top 150. And the viewership for Raw was down 6.2% from the same week in 2020, while the 18 to 49 demo was down 12.72% from the same week in 2020, which, of course, was the post-Clash of Champions episode. So on a night, where you had Big E really prominently featured, Lashley and he occupying a third of real estate on the whole show, about half hour or so up top, half hour or so at the end. What do you take away from the fact that WWE wasn't able to see any kind of bounce coming out of this pay-per-view?
I mean, they were going up against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
I think it would have been even worse. The WWE Championship, Big E and Bobby Lashley were not featured on Extreme Rules, nor was there really, I thought, a big build-up to this rematch on Monday Night Raw. Promotionally, WWE could have done more, but I think, they're in a rebuilding mode right now. I really enjoyed this past Monday night's Raw, and I think what WWE is trying to do with Monday Night Raw is rebuild the trust and try to, lay a foundation. They could have done a lot more, yeah, and it's not where it should be. But I thought they put out a good program on Monday, and they're starting to win me back. I'm hoping. I'm always trying to approach wrestling with an open mind. But they violated our trust for a very long time.
Yes, they did. And a lot of people here, Antonio Garcia chiming in about the Cowboys. Had to watch my Cowboys take it to the Eagles. Danny Cochran. We had Christopher Strikeleather. How about them Cowboys, Samantha? They were going against Dallas. Wouldn't that be good for the ratings? Yeah, I get it. But I don't want to make excuses for where the screws could be tightened here to make a better product that is more compelling, that gives you more of a reason to come in. Little things, right? And it's easy to literally armchair quarterback, which is funny because I'm in an armchair and it's a football reference, but I'm going to do it about wrestling. I mean, it is easy to armchair quarterback and say, how could you have put more heat on Lashley and Big E going into tonight to make it feel more important when you have that Extreme Rules platform, right? The thing I said coming out of Extreme Rules was I just thought it was flat to just have Lashley in the back, looking in the camera, cutting a promo, pouting about how he's lost. He still got pinned twice now by Big E, and the times that he's been screwed over with that Money in the Bank thing. It just came across as whiny to me. It felt like we just need a reason to get to this match, to do it one more time. It didn't feel like it had stakes to me, right? What I thought as I sat and reflected on Monday night and was looking at these numbers was the show started off with the Hurt Business reforming alongside Bobby Lashley, interfering in the opening bout. MVP, has gone to Twitter and defended the fact that Hurt Business being thrown back together with no explanation is fine. They're like brothers. Brothers fight, then they hug, they get back together. I mean, it's a little thing. And again, armchair quarterbacking, right? Hindsight. But why after the loss to open the show at Extreme Rules do we not find Bobby Lashley with the Hurt Business back together, beating down like an Xavier Woods to send a statement that the Hurt Business is back and you should tune into Raw to see that element of it? They really didn't do anything in the opening tag bout to necessitate them just walking out there for no reason. If you knew that Lashley was acting out aggressively because he'd been pinned twice in a row and was beating people up and had gone back to his friends and they were on the warpath, that just seems like a harder lead-in to me, B-Wo, and it doesn't seem that you had to really put too much thought into doing something like that.
WWE has so many outlets for promotion. They could have shown up on the bump. They could have shown up on the kickoff show for Extreme Rules. Anything to just get some buzz going. And I don't know. I think, look, Raw ended up being good. I ended up enjoying it. But man, the build, the promotion, it's not quite there yet.
I think the thing is, like, if you're already in the pipeline and you're watching WWE pretty much every week for whatever reason, you like it, you want to comment on it, you want to be a part of that community, it's enough to say, I thought it was a good show. I enjoyed it more than usual. But that's not the things that are going to be bringing in people that have maybe fallen off for a few weeks, months, maybe even a couple years, maybe people that were just never wrestling fans or being introduced to your product for the first time. Like, they're in a moment right now where they're trying to find momentum and counter the narrative that AEW is this growing beast in their space. And I just don't think that the status quo is enough right now. There needs to be some more thought and some more, effort put into this stuff.
Yeah. That's a Damian Priest and Sheamus had a banger. That was a great match.
What? The wrestling is not the problem. The wrestling is good. There are the best wrestlers in the world there. AJ Styles, Riddle, banger, right? Went out there. The wrestling, not a problem. Not a problem.
I'm really concerned about the placement of the commercials on Raw. Have you noticed the commercials are shifting a little bit where it's like almost always during wrestling matches?
Oh,
and
yeah.
And it's like now the match isn't important on the show. It's like, oh, whatever. This will just keep going on. You can put on ads during this. It's really odd, and it's changing the entire show for me. And I want to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. So that was our Raw take there. We also, coming out of Raw, found out that WWE has announced Eva Marie was evaluated after the show to be treated for a possible dislocation of her elbow following the attack by Shayna Baszler. No word if this injury angle was done to write Eva out of the Raw storylines as WWE did with Nia Jax the week before. Baszler snapped on Jax last week. It was announced that Jax will be out of action for an undisclosed amount of time. Jax is taken off the table. Alexa Bliss is taken off the table. Eva Marie is now taken off the table. I feel like Raw is going to maybe benefit the most from raiding the NXT coffers for talent. Maybe you're right about Taya Valkyrie. Her with Johnny over on Raw, that would make sense,
I want them to change Shayna Baszler's nickname from Queen of Spades to the Eraser. And she'll just come and erase different characters and write them off the show. Just have Shayna Baszler come out and erase people. I think that would be so fun. Frankie Monet to Monday Night Raw. I feel like it's obvious, but here's the thing: we got Shayna's now a babyface. People were chanting, one more time for her to like break Eva Marie's other. That was sick.
Well, and Charlotte got a baby face pop for laying out Eva Marie too, and I was like, "What is happening here? They're babying all their like badasses right now." But again, like, what are they setting the table for on the other side of the draft? They want these, baddies, that are beloved. Maybe they're bringing in some women that they're going to play as heels, like Ataya. Who knows, right?
Yeah, something like that. Because like the thing is Eva Marie was taunting the crowd and taunting the audience. So like, someone hitting Eva Marie was naturally going to make the crowd pop. I don't know, man. It was interesting moves. I can see things are shifting before the draft.
Supersonic X saying Shayna could also be a female legend killer like Randy Orton was. I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Good idea. Kind of our pivot story here from WWE to AEW. Fightful reporting that one of the ideas discussed in early talks and pitches to bring Adam Cole to the main roster, Raw or SmackDown, one of the ideas floated to Cole himself involved a change to his look. Word is that WWE wanted to cut Cole's hair in order to establish a new look on the main roster. Cole reportedly made it clear he has no interest in cutting his hair, and that pitch was not made again. It was noted that by the time the final ideas were made to Cole, the new look was not included. And, more of kind of the weirdness around why Adam Cole chose AEW over WWE. It's obvious that they were giving him stuff that were basically telling him to leave, it sounds like.
Yeah. When we took improv classes, Nick, one of the things they always taught us was discover instead of invent. And your scene will be a lot funnier. If you're trying to make something up out of nowhere, you're going to have to do a whole lot more work. But if you're just looking at your partner, you're looking at the way you're standing, you're just taking what's given to you, you're going to have a much funnier and much more interesting scene. And WWE, with all of their new talent, what they do is they try to invent instead of discover and work with what they got. And it's amazing to me to take someone who has gotten over with their name, Adam Cole, and be like, I want to change this. Someone who's gotten over with their look, with their entrance. It's clear that he's been doing this since Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, NXT, and now on Raw. Hey, everything you did to get over, no, change that.
Yeah.
Discovery over invention.
Yeah, it is. I really kind of feel like maybe they were giving him stuff to see if he would just take it, or if he, if they kind of maybe wanted him to go away, right? I mean, like everything we've heard about the pitches that were made to him were no mas, and so, or no bueno, not no mas. So bad.
And why would you put in the effort? Just say hey man, just go somewhere else. It's okay.
Well, talking about AEW, Tony Khan revealed that tonight's Dynamite from Rochester is going to be dedicated to the memory of Brody Lee. Of course, this was where Brody Lee called home, was Rochester, New York. Now, on the show tonight, we're going to see Adam Cole. He's going to take on Jungle Boy. Battle of men with long, flowing locks there between those two. But Bray Wyatt, I've seen a lot of people talking about how he may be there tonight. A lot of confusion around his non-compete clause. Is he going to be available or not? But another week, another big hook here for AEW Dynamite, man. Again, momentum is in their corner at the moment.
Oh, man. How can you not want to watch tonight's Dynamite? I mean, just for Adam Cole Jungle Boy alone, that's going to be an amazing match. And tonight, with the show dedicated to Brody Lee, I feel like there's got to be something, maybe Adam Page returns tonight. And I know I read Eric Bischoff said that he thought it would be a bad idea for Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, to come out tonight. I got to say, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, is a guy who constantly reinvented himself in WWE. Whenever his gimmick got stale, whenever things changed, this dude pivoted, and what happened every time? He got over. So whenever they debut him, dude's going to get over, just like Adam Cole. You're going to get over. He's that good.
Yeah, well, a couple of people here getting shots in AEW now, new recruits. AEW Dark featured Kiera Hogan. She's officially signed with the company. She defeated Layla Gray in single action, and on commentary, they noted she had just signed with the company. This was her sixth match for AEW, second win. Awesome talent. Big Kiera Hogan fan. Very happy to see her in that mix over there. And this week's episode of Dark also saw former NXT stars Santana Garrett and Adrian Jaud, a.k.a. Arturo Huez. They made their AEW debuts. Garrett appeared as part of the show in the cold open backstage interview with Alex Marvez. She was interrupted by Diamante, who welcomed Garrett by challenging her to a match next week. She accepted, the two brawled, and Huez Jaud competed in the ring alongside Cesar Bonani, his real-life best friend. Jaud and Bonani won in a dominant fashion. This was Jaud's first match since November 2020, where he took on Kushida in NXT. And he was recently announced to be part of Bloodsport 7, going under the name Tiger Huez, which I actually think, of all of his names, Huez, Adrian Jaud, Tiger Huez, I think is his best name. I dig it. I like him a lot. He's a really good guy.
Oh man, it's so exciting. I don't know. Anybody with the name Tiger, I always enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. So congratulations to everybody involved in AEW and continuing to fill the dark coffers. A lot of good talent down there. I think that Skylar Blue that they discovered here in Chicago, man, she's gonna be a big star. A couple of these diamonds in the rough they're finding right now.
And I've really been enjoying checking out Dark and Dark Elevation each week. I usually pop in just for a match or two, scrolling around on YouTube. It's fun. They got fun programs.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for sticking around to the end of the show. We're about to dive into the mailbag. Thank you, Brian, for talking the pro wrestling news of the day. Thank you very much to Nikki Ash and WWE for taking the time to talk with Brian and Wrestling Inc. SummerSlam weekend. And we have a couple more conversations that Brian had from that weekend that we haven't aired yet. So we're going to be continuing to sprinkle them in over the next week or so. And I think then we'll finally kind of plane out there and we'll have to find another big pool of interviews to roll into the mix. But anyway, let's get to the mailbag here. Today's mailbag question brought to you by @WinkDaily, WINC Daily. Over on Twitter, we're at 1,290 followers. That's only 10 away from 1,300 followers. That is a spooky number. And, you know, we're aiming for spooky numbers here on our road to Halloween. So help us hit 1,300 @WinkDaily. Go give us a follow over on Twitter. Today's poll question stems from the fact that the world-famous Mall of America is apparently open to hosting AEW Dynamite. Now, they hosted the Nitro debut shows back in the day. A fan tweeted them the idea. They responded, "We're all for it." It worked out great the first time. AEW brings the fire 2 times, 2 fire emojis. So I asked everybody, do you think this is a great idea, an okay idea, not a good idea, or don't let this happen? Over 230 votes here in the last hour. 54.5% great idea. 22.6 okay. 14 not good, and only 8.9 do not let this happen. What do you think of the idea of Dynamite coming to us from the Mall of America?
I feel like Dynamite's a little bit too big for Mall of America, so I'd love to see a Ring of Honor show there. Or maybe Bloodsport.
I think that you might be onto something there. I think Ring of Honor, if they could get their live weekly TV going, or like an MLW on Vice TV, maybe it would benefit one of them more. Maybe AEW is too big for something like that.
Yeah, and you know, it would be a great opportunity to have Lex Luger come out. You know, gotta have Lex at the Mall of America show.
We have here the Bus Cat. Yes, it would give me a reason to go there for the first time in 8 years. Is Hulk Hogan's Pasta Mania still there? Virgil could get some meat sauce. Now, people actually asked the Mall of America about this. Apparently, Pasta Mania is part of their past. It's more of a pastamania kind of situation right now. More past, less pasta.
I forgot about Pastamania. That was the thing.
Wow. Nash Sully here agreeing with you. Lex Luger, maybe he could make an appearance. That seems like a good idea. And then we have more Raj Mooker here, just like WCW. Yeah, that would be the thing. That'd be the point. We have Daniel Price. Bad idea. Khan's already tried to resurrect Nitro. Enough. Let it go. I don't think so, man. I don't think they've done enough. So, let's see here. We have DX Vex. They can have the match at Spencer's at the mall. That's a good idea. I can see the best friends being way into Spencer's. You know, like if each wrestler or faction in AEW was a mall store, I would like to know what those stores looks like, because the
best friends would be Spencer's. Yes,
100% Spencer's. 100% Look, Rob Humphrey saying that they wouldn't be able to get Darby Allin out of Hot Topic, right? It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. And then we have the Miguel AEW. Maybe they could do a dark from there. That's not a bad idea, but they've really got their formula down in Universal Studios. I like what they're doing down at Universal at the moment.
Yeah, that's really fun. I've been enjoying that show. This little studio wrestling. It's cool.
That it is. All right, everybody. That's going to bring us to the end of the show here today. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be joined once again by Paul Pratt, a.k.a. Polio Del Mar, who was nice enough to jump in yesterday when EJ got a booking of his own and had to run away. Paul jumped right in. So Paul will be back tomorrow. Also, come back tomorrow, not just for me and Polio. Paul You're also going to hear my latest conversation, this one with EC3. It's a big match this weekend. Him, Adam Shear are going to be going heads up at Free the Narrative 2. The monster inside us all, something like that. I don't know, written in front of me. Anyway, EC3 will be here tomorrow. Me, Paul Pratt. If you like the Wrestling Inc. Daily, support WrestlingInc.com. We're on all the socials. And the Wrestling Inc. podcast goes live at night after all the major shows, including tonight after Dynamite. Tune into that and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. BWO, anything you want to plug, put over here to wrap up the show today?
Oh, check out my podcast, My Favorite Friendship. Tomorrow we have a new episode where we dig into the friendship of Penn and Teller. And learn about those two guys.
All right, then. I like that a lot. Very funny, talented men, Penn and Teller are. I am at Nick _Hausman over on Twitter. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.